One. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Real Reds Talk. Me and Shreyas are here to give you all the latest transfer news. Sorry it's a little bit late. Other things out of my hands, time-wise, that I literally had no control over. But we're here to discuss all the latest, biggest stories surrounding Manchester United. And Theo Hernandez, we've got Victor Boniface. Is his name Victor? I feel like his name's Victor.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's Victor Boniface, isn't it? I don't know, I just didn't feel right saying it. And Victor Boniface, we've got a couple of injury updates ahead of the Bodo Glimt game. Of course, we're going to have the preview for that tonight. Harry Amass, updates on him potentially going out on loan in January. And then the work that Onana's been doing off the pitch is as impressive as the work he's been doing on the pitch. So we want to give him his flowers towards the end. So make sure you stick around for that and smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, Treyas, the message from Ruben Amorim to the management is we need a left-back in 2025. It could be January or summer based on opportunities, price and several factors. That's from Fabrizio Romano. Now, from Florian Plettenberg, one of the targets is Theo Hernandez, who's on the list with Alphonso Davies and a few others. He's closely being monitored, and his contract runs out with AC Milan until 2026. For me, and I'm sure you'll probably have a similar view, that feels like an impossible signing because we're talking about one of the best left-backs in Europe, right?
Of course. And as far as the opportunity presents itself with Theo Hernandez, I'm sure that whenever it happens, AC Milan will look to cash out as much as they possibly can.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to, the type of player he is and the kind of position that he's cemented in that AC Milan team as well, he's not going to go cheap. And they'll never, make it a situation where he leaves on a free. Whenever Theo Hernandez leaves AC Milan, it would be upwards of 100 mil at the very least. And he's, as a player, no doubt about it, he's perhaps, top three when you look at left backs in Europe, and no doubt about it when you look at his all-round game, whether it's defensively, whether it's on attacking wise, whether it's on the ball, his technical movement, his positional awareness.
Yeah.
I would even say his intelligence, to play in a back five or a back four, or just to step into midfield and make runs through through central channels. He's very, very good. So I just think as an addition, no doubt about it, he might elevate that backline to a completely different level, but it just won't happen. And if it happens, then we might be seeing a lot of outgoings because you'll genuinely have to facilitate. When you bring in someone like Theo Hernandez, I think it also creates that sort of space where there can't be any second questions about it that he might work or might not work. He has to work, and the team then has to perform to the same levels as well. That if you get that sort of a signing, you can't be juggling around 5th or 5th or 8th. Then you need to be in that race where you're consistently challenging for top 4 and playing good football and getting results on a weekly basis. I think this team is still in that phase where you need to get the foundation right. You still need to make sure that the initial process and the players who are being brought in initially are able to set up and are able to perform confidently. Once that is done, and then you can get in your Theo Hernandez or the other players who are being mentioned around, because Theo Hernandez is not a foundation player. You cannot get him in and then expect that 2 to 3 seasons we'll get to a different level. He comes in, he's a now player. He's not a future player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And you look at the teams that he could potentially go to. I mean, with all due respect, obviously we absolutely adore and love Manchester United, but we are 13th or 12th maybe in the Premier League. We are 13th, 14th in the Europa League. It's not the biggest, most attractive club at the minute. And other clubs with his kind of quality, we're talking about him being, top 3 left-backs in Europe. There are other teams like Madrid or Barca's potentially, or someone like that, who maybe will be looking at him, and that's a much more
potentially City.
Potentially City. You don't know what's going on there. What kind of, obviously they've got Gvardiol who can kind of ship over there. But I'm talking like if those kind of clubs come knocking, obviously he's going to want Champions League football. We might not even be in Europe next season. We might not even be in Europe, which is a crazy thing to say, innit? So I think those kind of signings, much like a De Jong would be right now, it just doesn't seem like the kind of right fit or the kind of player that we would go for. And as you mentioned, the price tag, not only that, the wages on top of it, it just seems out of reach, doesn't it, at the moment? Really, really does. So I don't see that happening. I feel like I'm lagging a little bit on my screen. Is that doing the same for you?
No.
No, am I okay? Okay, just double checking. Let me check Discord. Discord's fine as well. Charlie Malm was saying it's said that Theo Hernandez got a 175 million release clause. Could be hard to get in with that clause, at least in January. In the summer, mate.
In the summer
forget
as well.
January, in the summer as well. I think it's impossible. I look at someone like Alphonso Davies, who we've spoken about before, Shreyas, and he's much more achievable. He's, contract running out
Exactly.
and thing. I
It's
know
still
Madrid
in
are
reach.
interested, but it's in
It's
reach.
still in reach.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's a Premier. You can still say the Premier League's an opportunity. It's an exciting league, best league in the world. We've got a new project here under Ruben Amorim, and you suit a wing back role really, really well. So that's something that's more achievable than a Theo Hernandez. I would be absolutely astonished if we went and signed him. Astonished,
Yeah.
because he really
Yeah.
is
No doubt about
creme
it.
de la
And
creme when it comes
you
to
look
left
at that
backs.
left-hand side that AC Milan has to offer right now. They wouldn't, when both of those guys on that left-hand side go, it will be around 250 or 260 million for sure.
Leao and Theo,
Yeah.
they're the
Yeah.
two that are like keeping Milan. I know Milan aren't having the best of seasons, but if them two go, they've really
they're done.
like struggling for bits of talent in the team. They've got Pulisic who's doing all right, but like, they're not pulling up trees, are they?
Yeah.
So those two are two to watch for sure in the summer. Maybe they do want a different challenge, but I think you'd have to offer him a lot of money, and I feel like Ineos are kind of going away from that a little bit. So I'm glad we're in agreement on Theo Hernandez. But of course, anyone just joining, give us your thoughts on him if you would try and push for that. Another name that's been mentioned, Shreyas, is Victor Boniface, Nigerian striker, plays for Leverkusen, decent player. And the same report of Florian Plettenberg says if United choose to sign an expensive striker, this would only become a topic next summer, so not necessarily a January thing.
Yeah.
Is this the guy? Do you think?
He's a very good player. He's a very exceptional talent. I'm still not sold on him though, because there are still certain areas to his game. He plays in a similar system. With the way he plays as a striker at Leverkusen, it is a bit similar. If you have to compare it to the way that Amorim wants to play, playing alongside 2 10s in behind him and then having wing backs bomb on. So it is a bit similar for sure, but I'm just not sold on the guy right now. Like, I get his aggressiveness, I get his goal scoring output, but as a whole, as an overall profile, I'm still not sold on Boniface. And I think that especially, when you have to circulate in the summer window, I think there will be many, many more options for United to go into, because you've already got Xerxes. You've already got Rasmus Højlund. I just don't want us to go I just want us to go for someone experienced enough, someone who knows how to operate in that channel and actually, be able to come in and actually rejuvenate that attack. Because Højlund has been a young prospect. Xerxes as well is a very young prospect. I just don't want us to go with young every single time, because you need some experience in there as well. You need that sort of mentor in that attacking line who people can actually learn off from, because Casemiro does that job incredibly in midfield. Menu, Ugarte, any young prospect in that midfield, and every single one of them says that we get a lot to learn from Casemiro. Even in that defensive line now, you got Matthias de Ligt, people can learn off from. You got Lisandro Martinez, people can learn off from as well. So you need those sort of profiles in the attack. Rashford is not that senior pro who people can look up to and go that we'll be able to maintain our own when things go wrong. So we need that sort of profile in the attack.
Yeah, you need a striker that's going to absolutely command respect in it. Like a Benzema 5 years ago, or a Cavani like 5 years ago. Someone like that who's like the youngsters are going to be like, if I don't give him the ball there, I'm going to absolutely get it in the neck. That's the type of striker. And also, not just only that leadership kind of element, but someone who's a killer in front of goal and is guaranteed goal like a Harry Kane. And obviously, they're not very easy to come by. But if you're going to take the chance on one Nigerian striker in Victor Boniface, I'd much rather push for Osman.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say the same thing. He's going to be available perhaps in the same price range of Victor Boniface next season.
Exactly.
Boniface is being rumored around 65 to 75 mil. Osimhen's release clause is going to be halved next season in the summer to 75 mil. Why not go for someone like him if you actually want to throw the big bucks around?
Yeah, in Amorim's system, I think he'd be really good as well. Osimhen
with constant supply from Bruno or Mount or whoever you put, or Amass
channel running, physicality. It's got absolutely everything. Obviously, Gyökeres is another one who's 60 million for a gentleman's agreement in the summer, which is someone I would definitely look at. But I do feel you need that big physical presence who's going to be commanding of the players that are around him, because they don't have that authority. I don't think in the forward line. That's been a problem that I've highlighted for a long time. Now, Dan Harrington's saying we're all here for the Croc chat. Yeah, I did put that up on the story. I don't know if you guys have seen that. So this morning, we'll go back to the stories in a minute, but this is the main story. Okay. So this morning, right, I went for a walk. I went and got a coffee, and I've actually got the white Crocs here. So let me just show him. It's 2 seconds. So I went for a coffee, right? and I was wearing these. So you see, nice Crocs, yeah.
Yeah.
Fur inside for when you want to keep your feet warm and all that kind of stuff. This is not a brand deal for Crocs or anything. I got a few messages saying, "What on earth are you doing?" From people I respect, and I said, "What do you mean? What on earth am I doing?" And he was like, "Crocs." And what's the crack here? Why? And I listen, mate. I was one of the. I don't know if these are a thing in India, Shreyas. Are they? Do you see many people with Crocs? Crocs.
My friends wear Crocs.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Well, let me ask you this personally: how do you feel about Crocs? And be honest.
They're funny to look at.
Okay, so you have a similar opinion to a few people who have messaged. Yeah. You go, Dan in the chat saying, "Oh, Nick, I'm telling you, right? Let me just. I promise you." I used to look at him and say, and I used to say, check his laptop because I'd be suspicious of people who are wearing Crocs. I'd be like, he's a bit dodgy, mate. But if you've worn before, especially the fluffy ones, the comfy ones, you will never ever take them off. They're so comfortable, it's ridiculous. You have them in the morning, you don't have to worry about no socks or anything. You just slide them on and you can just do your thing. You can go outside, you can wear them indoors, you can wear them anywhere. So anyone who's giving me shit about Crocs, don't knock it until you try it. I was a hater like you guys as well. I was hating just as much, believe me. But then I tried them on, and now I can't take them off. So if you want to hate, that's absolutely fine. But I'm not going to stop wearing Crocs and drinking coffee because people are telling me to. You know what I mean? Be yourself. Endorse the niche that you are in a person. Anyway, I thought United were going to go in for Gyökeres in the summer. That's it, yeah, could be. Charlie Mama says, looks like we're loaning out Amass also. On Harry Amass, we might as well dive into that story because it's just giving me the perfect segue. Apparently, he's a loan target for a host of championship clubs in the January transfer window. Does he need a loan trial similar to Jimmy Garner, similar to others?
He needs to go to the championship, build up his physicality and come back. Honestly, because I think that's the only thing that is actually stopping him from making it into the first team because... Attacking wise, I have no doubt. On his crossing ability as well, I have no doubt about it. As far as I've seen, him until now, and he's very effective while moving the ball forward as well. But I just think that it is the physicality that actually, is stopping him from actually making it into the first team. Because apart from that, the perfect opportunity is now for him to actually, get some minutes in. But if he's being stopped, it is only because of the physicality. Talent wise and ability wise, I think he's there. And sometimes you do need that loan move. Sometimes you need to, get some consistent minutes in, get a season in, and players have made it back and done a massive job in the Premier League after getting those sort of moves. Like you mentioned, James Garner, he went on a loan, I think, to Forest in the Championship, did incredibly well there. I know that we didn't really make use of him, but he's been a revelation at Everton. He plays as a right back, as a CDM, as an 8, and he's a quality player for them. So maybe Amass can follow into the same footsteps, come back and make a case for himself. Amass got a good move at Sunderland as well, who was able to showcase his ability there and then got his minutes at United. So might be the same case for him.
Yeah, I'm just sorry, just very quickly, I just thought of, we said we was going to drop merch at 10k. And you know what? For the first idea, we're going to do Crocs. Why not? Real Reds Crocs. That's what we're going to do. And it's got the little... Sam. Yeah, it's gonna have the logo. You can get what they call that you plug into the end of them. These bits here. You can get things like little tags. These holes here, you can pop them in, and you can plug them in. So we're gonna get little Real Red badges that you can pop there. They're gonna be like dark green and gold. This bit will probably be gold, and we'll do some Real Red Crocs, and we'll see how many ship out. If not, I'll just wear a pair and represent him on a consistent basis. But sorry, on Amass, I agree. I do think he's got more of an opportunity now. One, because Amarin is in the building, and two, because of the 3-4-3 system, naturally being a wing back, I do think that really, really suits him because the reason why he hadn't played in the back four was because of his defensive frailties at times, and I think many coaches always reference that. So put him in this system, I think you can trust him a little bit more. But clearly, coaches don't rate him to come in at the moment. So what harm really can a 6-month loan do for his confidence? I think. Yeah, absolutely fine with that. Right, back to the comments. Let's go. I'm sure I'm going to be slagged off. Dan Harrington, it's just journals talking about the who's hot at the moment in Lincoln to United. It's them looking for clickbait. The Birkenstocks much better than Crocs. Crocs are wild animals, not shoes. 2 home games win will boost Man United Amarin era after this draw. Can you see United using the buyback clause for that left back from Benfica? Is referring to Alvaro Fernandez. I don't know. Maybe potentially, but then why
Not
do that
heard
if you've got
anything yet.
Amass?
It was just when Amorim was coming in the door that it was being mentioned that he might be explored as an option, but there's been nothing on him up until
No.
now. I think once things actually start flowing, I think by the time the winter window actually rolls in, we'll have a much fair idea as to what type of signings we'll be going for in the summer window. Because with the type of options that are being mentioned on the table right now, Alvaro Fernandez, Kerkez, and Alfonso Davies, for me, he ranks third in that
Yeah.
list pretty
Yeah.
easily. So
Yeah.
with the options that present themselves, I think there are better choices to go for.
Also, well done to Onana for helping people in need in his home nation. Well deserved award. Again, you just give me another perfect segue because we're going to discuss Onana. So, Manchester United goalkeeper Andre Onana won the FIFPRO Player Impact Award for his inspirational off-pitch endeavours. The 28-year-old's charity, the Andre Onana Foundation, provides free medical care and high-quality surgeries to underprivileged communities in Cameroon and other countries in Sub-Saharan Africa, which is absolutely amazing. I mean, first and foremost, let's talk about his performances on the pitch, Reyes, because he's been incredible this season, hasn't he, so far?
By far the best keeper, I would say.
Yeah.
If you look at the saves that he's made, even I think we would have lost that Ipswich game if Onana wasn't there.
I watched a highlight clip last night, and there was a couple in that. It was a flick from Delap as well. There's a couple in the Ipswich game. The Eze save that he did in the Crystal Palace game, the Fenerbahce one,
the double save he did in the Palace game as well.
Yeah, double save in the Palace game, the double save in the Fenerbahce one, the Tottenham one. There was a good few saves in there. That there's been loads of games where he's had massive, and you think had he made them, where we'd be in the table, God knows, it'd be even worse. We'd be near relegation.
Fulham in the first game as well, he was exceptional in
and
net.
Do you know what? The amount of shit he got as well from like big content creators who I know like in the first season in the Champions League, it was tough. It was really tough. But even then, after that, Shreyas, when he started performing well, he was still getting shit, and I never understood it.
Yeah, look, the thing is, I'm a big fan of goalkeepers, and I was extremely frustrated by him during our Champions League run, but he did come out of it. And by the time the season actually ended, he was by far one of our better performers. And now that the season has started, I would say he's top 2 for me. First is Mazraoui, but after that it is Onana for me. For best.
What about keepers in the league? Like, how would you rank? Give me your top 3 or top 5 goalkeepers in the Premier League right now.
Onana for me would be first. Second would be Vicario. And third...
Vicario will be second for you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. I'm very impressed by Vicario. To be very honest, I'm very impressed by him.
He's so soft corners though, isn't he? Vicario. Physically, he worries me off corners. They always just put it in on top of it. But
ends up the shots that he saves though.
Shot stopping wise, I agree, yeah.
He makes up for it every single time. Against us as well. You can see at his performance. So for me, he's second. Alisson has been injured, so I really cannot put him. But
the replacement's been pretty fucking good, hasn't it?
Kelleher has been
incredible.
Incredible for them.
Yeah.
But I think Kelleher will be in the top 5. I hate David Raya, but so I won't put him in.
He had a good start, David Raya, but then recently it's been a little bit.
Their entire team has had a bit of a drop off. I would say when it comes to Arsenal.
But it's mad that we're 13th. And he's the best goalkeeper in reality, because you look, I think he's 4.2 expected goals that he's saved. He's got 5 clean sheets. Like all the stats line up to say that he's been one of the best.
You could even look at Brentford's keeper. I think it's Flecken, Matt Flecken.
Flecken's been good.
Yeah, he's been good for them as well. So to be very honest, there have been a lot of good keepers this season in the league. Emi Martinez always comes out as decent as well with the kind of passion he brings into that Villa team. So there are always good options, but I think the impact that Onana has had, I'm sure if Onana didn't have as many good games as he's already had, we would have been nearer to the relegation zone. And a lot of creators think that I think he's an easy target. Like when United lose a game 3-0 or 2-0, or he's a much easier target to go at rather than the other players who are on the pitch. People don't like to comment much about Lisandro Martinez, but he hasn't been at it since the start of the season. People don't like to comment much on, I would even say, sometimes Rashford or Bruno, but they haven't been, in their best ability since the start of the season. Onana has been. And I think as the season goes on, he'll prove to be a, he'll just get better and better and better.
Mm.
And people like to comment much, a lot about his distribution, but how can he distribute the ball when the type of runs that our attackers are making? When
Yeah.
you look at Garnacho, when you look at Bruno, they're all off positioned. So for a keeper to distribute, you need to make sure that they are in the right spots when you're trying to exert a counter attack. But yeah, when you look at him on the ball, shot stopping wise and offset pieces as well, he's improved a lot.
Yeah.
He's genuinely improved a lot in comparison to last season. So I think I just think he's an easy target is all. But he's by far one of our better performers this season.
I still think it's mad that I'm older than Onana. How crazy is that? I'm older than him. Like, I find him mad. I think the maturity that he's showing on and off the pitch has been incredible. Because to have a start like he did, I'd probably say 80 to 90% of United fans had written him off, basically, and said, no, we fucked up here. We, get rid of him, take 30, 20 mil. I remember everyone saying it almost, and bringing another goalkeeper. So to come back from, you look at the Champions League campaign, I think that was single-handedly one of the worst campaigns you've ever seen from a goalkeeper. To then go to one of the top goalkeepers in the Premier League right now, maybe even Europe, you could discuss. I think that's a story in itself to show that even if you could be right at the rock bottom, you can still hit that peak with a bit of confidence. And I think his character in particular, from when I've watched interviews, when he speaks about young players, saying, don't be giving them shit. If you've got any criticism, put it on me. Put it on the senior players. And actually, sometimes I want to see more of that from players like Marcus Rashford. I don't think Rashford puts his arm around these players enough, because obviously he's experienced all the abuse from fans and all this criticism. He's had years of it. So to say to a Garnacho, put his arm around him like Bruno does, you don't see that from him. I feel like he's very focused in, like, just individual on himself. And I want to see more of that, because he's one of the only experienced players in the attack line. And this isn't just bashing Rashford. I feel like we need more of that and more characters like Onana. And I think he's one of those players that will still be here in 2, 3, 4 years' time under Ruben Amorim, hopefully, when we're successful. That's how I see it. So, yeah. And obviously the charity work, amazing as well, Shreyas, what he's doing for his country.
Of course. And I think, as overall right now, what Onana is doing off the pitch, on the pitch as well, he's doing all the right things. And the fans see it as well. I think majority of the fan base are able to visualize it as well and take it in a positive way. And I just hope, the way he is going, he's just going to keep at it. And like you mentioned, 3 or 4 years down the line, I'm sure that he'll still be around the club the way he's playing right now. And as far as Marcus Rashford is concerned, I just haven't seen him take that sort of responsibility yet.
Yeah.
Throughout his tenure at United, I've seen McTominay actually, come off a bit more as a responsible one, or Luke Shaw even, I would say, come off as a responsible one during interviews after games where we haven't really played well. But I've never seen Rashford actually do it. And with the kind of weight that Rashford actually carries, being an academy graduate, being someone who scored more than 100 goals for the club, and he's, once again, even though he's not in his best vein of form, he's still loved and adored by majority of the fan base. And a lot of every single one of them wants him to start firing again. And when he does, the support that Marcus Rashford gets is perhaps the most in comparison to other players that are present at the club right now. So I just hope that things can turn around for him, because there's going to be a lot of competition, and I would say this is his final season to actually make the cut in that front three. If he doesn't do it this time, he's gone.
The issue I take with him, right, so against Ipswich, he scores, right? And then after that, he just has a really bad performance. He doesn't kick on from it. He doesn't want more. He doesn't look. He's like, I've got my goal now. I'm kind of like, we'll just see how the game plays out.
The hunger is not visible.
No. And I remember the City game where, he banged one in, was 30 yards barring in. Everyone's like, oh my God, let's build on this. And then the rest of the performance was shocking. I mean, the amount of times he got through one goal, got pushed off the ball. There was massive question marks. I think, honestly, and again, I hate it when it turns into like a Rashford kind of conversation, because everyone just thinks you criticise him all the time. I just think he needs a different club. I think he needs a different environment and to explore Europe somewhere else and find it, because he's United fans, because he has that relationship with the academy from Withenshaw. He's got that connection. Maybe he does get scrutinised more than other players. Maybe the spotlight is on him a bit more, but I don't know. I've got big question marks on him. going forward. Big question marks. But we'll have to see. If Amarin can get something out of him, that's great. But there'll always be that thing in the back of my mind where I'm like,
realistically, if you see at the players that we've got at our disposal right now, I'm sure 2 of them will go next season in that front 3. Who will it be?
I just don't know. Honestly, I don't think there's any guarantees in there whatsoever. Genuinely, out of the pool of players that we've got, you talk about Rasmus, Xerxes, Garnacho, Rashford. Ahmad's the only one where I'm like, he's got the quality where he can be in that team for sure. Why he's playing at wing back, I'll never know. Obviously, got the assist from there, but why are you playing one of your best attackers at wing back? It's just bizarre to me personally. So I would push him up into that 10. I'd have Bruno on the other one, and then it's a scrap in it really for that striker position. So that's for Amarin to decide, and I'm sure he'll want the summer window to take care of that, won't he?
Yeah.
So, all right, last few comments. Amir Fikri saying, player of the season so far, what a comeback from Onana. Charlie Malman saying, Chido B. Martin will sign his first professional Manchester United contract when he turns 17 on Friday. A lot of hype around him, but you can't bring him in as your number one striker, can you? He's like, kid.
Not at all.
Just progression with that.
Give him time.
Yeah. Onana has been one of our best players for sure. Those better would be Maz and Ahmad. In my eyes, Onana is maybe the best goalkeeper in the league, if not the best, not far behind the best. Cristiano is the best thing in the world, greatest of all time. Here, United are keen on Kvaratskhelia, so he's rushing a swap plus cash deal. Listen, in an ideal world, Treyarch will tell you more than anyone, he would absolutely take that. I love Kvaratskhelia. I think he's a top-class player. But swap deals and things like that really are fantasy things. They rarely happen.
Give them Rashford and Anthony both. And get
The last time we did a swap deal was Alexis Sanchez and Henrik Mkhitaryan, and look how that went for both players. It wasn't fantastic, was it? So doesn't always work out. But Kvaratskhelia as a player, I know you've been banging on about him for ages, right? I do really like him. I think the Euros with Georgia highlighted it even more because I got to watch him a bit more under a microscope. He's an impressive player, man. Both feet, carries the ball really well.
And then play him behind Bruno and
it's wages and Rashford on 375k, I think, or 350k.
Yeah.
That's why it makes it so difficult, because it's like, Napoli are taking a big gamble, and obviously Napoli are awful to deal with anyway. You look at the Koulibaly deal, other things around it, just horrible to deal with. So yeah, I'm not too sure about that personally, but anyway, we shall end it there. We're getting near the 30-minute mark. We've got the Bodo Glimt preview tonight. Do not miss that. Can't wait to dive into that game for Europe. Hopefully, Ruben Amarin's first win at Old Trafford. And then we've got Everton on the weekend. I'm trying to get Alex on, obviously, because he's an Everton fan. So I'd love to speak to him in depth about them and get a kind of different perspective. But apart from that, we're 13 subs off 8,500. So if you are new to the channel and you've enjoyed this chat, please do hit it. It takes 2 seconds. Leave a like in the video for us. And me and Shreyas will see you guys